Welcome to the Maral Vegas Show, where we talk with locals in the community to highlight one of my favorite things about Vegas, its people. Hello and welcome to the Maral Vegas Show. I'm here with Chef Vic Vegas. He is a Vegas local. He's a restaurant owner of Sinful Subs. He also has over 25 years of experience in the restaurant and bar industry, and he's an expert chef on the hit TV series called Bar Rescue. Hi.
Hello, how are you? I guess that reveals that I'm definitely 26 years old.
Yeah, after a while, you don't even have to say what your age is anymore. It doesn't matter.
I know. A lot of people are doing that. I'm going to jump on that one. Definitely.
I'm doing it.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I've been keeping myself busy. I've been indoors. I do probably need to get out soon. But I'm enjoying myself. It's really, really forcing me to learn technology. Before I would just go to a studio, sit down, do an interview. I didn't worry about any of the rest. But now I feel like I have more control over my content, which is really cool. Yeah, so I love it.
I'm starting to feel like I actually know what I'm doing a little bit more. It's like I got forced into doing things thoroughly that I normally wouldn't do. Some stuff I'm very complete on, and some stuff I wing it.
Yeah.
The wing thing has become the thorough thing now. I've learned so much in the last 10 weeks. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people have that feeling that it's kind of pushed them to do more than they normally would. I'm curious though, as a chef, what quarantine life has been for you. I mean, do you stay at home and make all these fancy meals for yourself and your family, or are you the complete opposite and you're like, I'm not going to cook?
We'll just say 10 weeks ago and back. Even though I'm a chef, there's been days that, I've probably had 1 million pounds of food around me where I went home and said, I haven't eaten today. You know what I mean? It's the job. So,
right.
I'm a food on the go guy, like what people are doing right now, curbside pickup style and, fast food, but a little bit more on the healthier side. That's really what I used to eat lately. When everybody was running around and buying stuff at the stores.
Mm-hmm.
I grabbed a few extra cans of stuff that I wouldn't normally keep here. And stuff, yeah. This quarantine was brought to you by Campbell's. But, I'm serious.
That's pretty funny.
And a few others, of course. But what happened is, we had quarantine food, and then, it was like, all right, I haven't eaten chunky clam chowder in a long time, out of the can. It's not bad. But
right.
Then, a week or two in, it was like, we got to do something else with this. We got to start cutting things up, mixing things. So in result, I wound up doing St. Jude's for Children quarantine videos on, what you did with your stuff that you may have overbought out of a panic that's sitting around now.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, doing cooking demos out of the house and cooking more at home than ever. Every day now.
So you have tips on what you can do with the extra stuff that you bought? Because I have an entire cabinet full of stuff, canned food especially, that I have not opened and I don't know what to do with.
Yeah, no, seriously. We don't know what's going on when they say everybody go out to the store and buy food because there might not be any. People will naturally just take a shot and go do that. And in result, you're going to have a couple extra cans of things that you may not have had 12 weeks ago. And yes, you can do very many things with stuff with items in cans.
When did you discover your love of being in the kitchen?
Let me see. So I had a few dreams, but my love of being in the kitchen, being a father early, I was a father late teens, early 20s, and you have to make a choice, either get it together because, now you're bringing little ones into the world, or, continue being, not much, pretty much. I guess that's the best way to say it. So coming from an Italian family, coming from food, you know how it is. You come from that love of that very sacred place where you grew up, where you had no worries but to be at the dinner table at a certain time. And, those days is what at least directed me to know that I had to start off as a dishwasher to get into the kitchen. I had very basic kitchen chops, but nobody's going to hire you when you're, 19, 20 years old, walking into a kitchen and, saying, I want to work in the kitchen. You're definitely, with no experience, going to probably start in the dish pit. And then as time goes on, at least you're near your place. I'm over here in the dish room, but the way this industry works, it's very good to the people that are in it if they ride the wave correctly. And if any chef will take a dishwasher that wants to learn how to use a knife and teach him how to use it, because he may be short on a prep guy one night and might have a dishwasher. So when he puts that knife in that dishwasher's hands, not only is he empowering the dishwasher to learn something extra to move on in life, but he's also bettering his establishment by being able to have somebody else there being able to do something that someone else can do. And you're teaching somebody a craft as well. So there's just so many good things. And that's what happened to me. I started off as a dishwasher and, just begged to like chop the parsley. Can I please chop the parsley? You do this now, you see it a million times on cooking shows. But when I was a late teen and I saw Chef chopping parsley, it was like, wow, I want to do that, because I couldn't do that. And so eventually what wound up happening is the chef would let me, do a little bit more outside of the kitchen work. The problem was I was a very good dishwasher. So you kind of get stuck because if you're a good dishwasher, why do they want to promote you? Because then if you get a bad dishwasher, you're in more trouble than having bad cooks, because the dishwasher is one of the most important guys in the kitchen.
Well, you definitely had a humble beginning, and some people must have believed in you because you've come very far. Again, I'm not dating you or anything like that, but now you are an expert chef on the Bar Rescue. That show, by the way, is full of a lot of drama. It is pretty intense and it gets hot in the kitchen. I watched an episode last night and the guys in the kitchen were taking too long to make the hot dogs, and you yelled, but it was a very polite yelling. No disrespect, but give me a damn hot dog. I thought it was so funny because I was like, he's still being respectful even though he's yelling. But John Taffer, he must be amazing to work with. So I want to know about all of that. Let's talk about it.
It's funny you start with that episode, because that was 18 episodes ago, and that was my first ever episode. So I was all fired up and ready to go. That was my first opportunity to be able to show that side of me being a chef on the television tube, being turned down from multiple chef renovation shows because I never had the opportunity to showcase chef enforcement. So I was all fired up, like, this is my chance. I'm ready to go. Taffer pulled me outside before, and he goes, listen, you're going to see how real this is. You hear what you hear, you're here now, and you're going to see how real this is. And with the way you are, Vic, and the way we are, you're actually going to get upset that these people are violating rules, making people sick and not caring, because you worked hard to get where you got. I worked hard to get where I got, and we wouldn't have got where we got if we did what they did. So the hell with them. That was like lighting a fuse.
That's so funny. Yeah.
To me, because now I went in there and you saw they were the muscle builder guys.
Right.
And I was like, that was it. I'm like, thank you, John. And we went in there and we had that specific situation. And when it was said, John had given me a hug and he goes, I appreciate that. He goes, that's what we were looking for. Because it's real. But he's not going to tell me, hey, go in and act like this. He's going to say, go in there and feel how you would feel experiencing this. So I learned on day one how real that show is. Once in a blue moon, they may not be able to film certain things. There was a time where we were filming and the bugs were flying in our faces, where we had to really fumigate and wait till the next day. So people say, hey, do they put the bugs in there? Absolutely not. There's times they can't film because there's too many bugs. Some of the stuff we see. But back to working with John, there's a whole big story with me and him, but I got to tell you, I'm so fortunate going through the trials and tribulations of this industry and knocking on many doors and not really being able to get in for many reasons. He's the one guy that was like, you know what? Even though I haven't seen it yet with you, I have an idea that you would be able to pull this off. And honestly, all this great Bar Rescue stuff you see, all these episodes, is simply because John was kind enough to give me a chance. And he had liked some of the things that I was doing previously, where I think I had enough to at least start to be in the position to be able to start helping him, rescue some of these, some of these crazy bars,
Yeah, it sounds like he's a mentor in many ways.
It's taught me a lot. My thing is I'm a self-trained guy, and I was never a reflection of another chef, and it used to upset me because I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. And what it actually did was it allowed me to be more myself and be a reflection of me. So I kind of took it as far as I could on my own. And you could really only get so far, no more on your own, observing your own info. Then you just have enough to meet somebody on that next level that sees that you've come the right way, where they're going to sprinkle some of that knowledge on you and see how you run with it. I learned so much. I went to John and told him about Sinful Subs before I opened it. He's a great advisor. He takes the time with everything he's got going on in his world to actually talk to me about what I'm doing in my regular world to make sure that I do okay. So if anybody wants to know if that guy really cares, he does. If they want to know, does he really yell all day? He absolutely does not. And I call him Big Teddy Bear and he calls me Pussycat. He says the first one to cry on a set is Vic when he gets emotional when he sees people. Whoops. But you know what? It's real stuff that actually really happens. And that's the great part.
That's what I wanted to know, because I'm like, I wonder if this is all real. I mean, it kind of scares me a little bit to eat out because you don't know what is going on behind closed doors. And I haven't been to Sinful Subs, but I know that place is being run the way that it should.
Let me tell you right now, okay, so I go around and I do all these things on national TV. We go rescue stuff. I mean, I can't be clean. I got to be like hospital grade because who am I to go and tell people what to do if my situation isn't correct? That would be pretty low, And so it feels good to be able to implement your knowledge into your own thing as well as going around and helping others, because it kind of shows your proven success and knowledge of what you've observed to be able to get to that point,
Right. That actually takes me to a question that I have for you. Cross-contamination. The average person does not know anything about cross-contamination. Even after all of this craziness with COVID-19, obviously it has forced us to think about it for the first time. What is your opinion about that?
Let me tell you something, okay? Think about this, okay? Think about this. Here I am, last 7 years on virus. Terms, this, that, health news, this, I'm pretty much, I got a decent amount of information to be able to keep people safe and teach them. Now I go back in time on how disgusting I was. Example.
Right.
I travel a lot. You see me getting my groove on. I'm traveling. I'm doing my thing. How many times did I walk onto the plane? What's the first thing you do? You chuck your luggage in the thing.
Right.
Okay. Cool. What's the second thing you do?
Sit in your seat. Oh, close it.
You touch that wonderful air thing.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Then you probably fasten your seatbelt. Then somewhere in the next 30 minutes, you take down your tray. And then somewhere around another 15 minutes after that, you're just eating those peanuts. So cross-contamination, that is crisscross, double reverse, triple Lindy contamination. Meaning that alone with somebody who is in the industry, just thinking about that alone, cross-contamination is insane. Like you start going back and you start going, why did I get sick after trips when it was the summer and I was in water? Now you're going, man, I must have just like put my mouth on that little air thing up there. Like I might as well just like, you know what I mean? Like now you're like, oh my
don't do that, people. Don't do that.
So that's what you don't know. And then there's the obvious of what you do know. Like obviously, here you are in the kitchen. Some people are doing it right. Some people are trying to do it right. They don't know. And the people that don't care are really being forced to now. There's a lot of guidelines that are going out that you must follow, that if people don't see that you're doing, they're just not going to come to you no more, and it's as simple as not sanitizing your hands when you open a door now. It used to be change your gloves, wash your hands, all that stuff. Don't store food the wrong way, proper temperatures, proper sanitation. That's this much now.
wearing gloves doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're immune to all of the cross contamination. If you have gloves on and you're still touching everything, that's defeating the purpose, right?
Especially in a drive-through, because they're touching, they have gloves on.
Right.
I was with somebody, they're like, oh, I love the feeling when they have gloves on. And I'm going, but they're touching credit cards.
Right.
And that credit card, you got to flip a coin if that person with the credit card was responsible. Mm-hmm. And where did that credit card go?
Right, right.
It's like, oh man.
I think about every detail now. I do.
We're in for a healthier world. It's okay to overthink this one, to be honest.
It's okay. It's okay, world. Overthink your dirtiness. It's all right, okay?
A lot less people, I will tell you this on a positive note, and I don't want to say anything's positive from all this turmoil that took place in the last 3 months, but in the future, children will be taught to be cleaner. Mm-hmm. People will be more cautious, and that will cut down on people getting sick as we go. You know, it really will. I mean, on not looking at what we didn't get out of it, but on a positive note, people are paying attention now, and that may save lives moving forward. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. Do you feel like, I mean, are you ready to start traveling again? Or have you been traveling?
No, I haven't been traveling. So here's what my life is made up of.
Okay. Tell us.
So I'm the corporate executive chef for Nicholas Company. I work for the company who sells the food to the restaurants. The big trucks you see that say US Foods, Cisco, Nicholas. I work for those guys. I sell chefs and restaurants their food and their supplies. So you can only imagine the hit that company took in the last 10 years, trying to be creative with spoilage and, you know, let's turn some of this spoilage into feeding frontline people. We've been doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Wow.
But, you know, I have this job, and at the end of the day, you know, even if you own a restaurant, like I suggest until your loans are paid off and you're starting to see your profits, that you do hold on to a job with insurances, especially, you know, if you have people that, you know, depend on you. And I've done it before 10 years ago, 15 years ago, owned the business without the job. I had to live inside that business. But so I have my job, and then I have Sinful Subs. And then in addition to Sinful Subs, I'm working on a project that I had to stop building. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
And we'll talk about it one day down the road with this, but I have to revamp that restaurant now to be more friendly to the times. Restaurant number one, we got restaurant number two being built, and we have the job, but I'm also the executive chef of a restaurant in North Carolina that I created with Taffer 4 years ago.
Wow.
I go once a month to keep that going, and that's closed. So that was my getaway.
That's a lot.
To the water, you know, I made the best out of my quarantine, as I said earlier, you know, started doing things that I normally wouldn't do to help me more that I should have done. But do I ever miss traveling? Do I miss bar rescue? We were just going to do a bar rescue. I was in North Carolina the night we got put on lockdown, getting ready to travel to bar rescue to knock out another one in Phoenix, and just everything got put on ice right now.
Oh, wow.
Like, that was a good part of my life. It really balanced me more that I was able to get out of Vegas, you know, once a month to clear my head, to come back and be better for Vegas, because it just, you know, if you're heavy into stuff out here in the work and it gets like this, and it's good to just let it out.
It's a good breakup.
So I miss traveling. I do. I love traveling. It's a great peace of mind and a head clearer, and have not been able to do that. And
but what are you ready to though? Because I think me personally, I'm a little bit scared to get in a plane. I just feel like I don't know if I want to be breathing the air with all these different people in this little capsule. Like, you know.
I'll tell you why I'm less scared. Okay.
Okay.
You remember right before Vegas got put on lockdown, the airports were empty. The 10 people in the airports had masks on. Everyone was scared. And people that were at the airport was just pooping themselves because of like, we don't know what's going on. Are we all going to die tomorrow?
Right.
I was in the airport for that. So
no way.
Yes, I'm sitting there with the mask on, looking like ninja style, like gloves on, sanitizer. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to go. I got to travel back. It got really strong while I was gone. It evolved heavy in the 4 days I was gone.
Was this in March?
Yep.
Okay.
This was right before, right when, It
probably
really,
like mid-March or something.
A little bit before. Right when I think it was like 9 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Because Sunday will be the measure of the 9th week where things were somewhat officially shut down. So I was in the airport while the world is scared of coronavirus on the news, while I'm in the airport watching scary people in the airport on the news scared.
Right.
So I'm like this. I'm sweating, like my mask is falling off. I'm sweating. The mask is like melting on my face because, again, this is like fresh. Like we don't know if it's real, if it's not, if it's up here, if it's we just don't know. All I know is that I'm about to get into a capsule with a bunch of people that look very uncomfortable right now. So I wound up doing that, and in doing that, it calmed me down a little bit. Where it won't be worse than that when we go back out, because that was when it wasn't tamed, at least a little bit, like it is now. At least there's more awareness to it. More people have masks. More people are sanitizing. More people ain't touching that thing on top.
Yeah.
So,
or they're bringing their own alcohol wipes and cleaning it themselves. That's what I do.
I know I am. And so pretty much, it's one of those things, just like the restaurants opening. Not a lot of people went out in some places. You got to take baby steps with the whole thing. We got to make sure it's okay before we do it. Not wanting to see others do it first to see what happens, but we got to just let time take its course and really not risk, trying to make a living by traveling. We got to try to stay home and do as much local stuff as we can for now. And there's plenty, I mean?
There's plenty of stuff to do. That's for sure. Isn't it weird that the Strip, there's no tourism here? It's the strangest thing to me.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
The fact that it was closed early, I believe, prevented a lot of people from getting sick because Vegas, man, that is our city, that Strip. Yeah. And so many people come in and out of that Strip. So I feel that it did flatten the curve a little bit, throw the curve off a little, that we did close early. But goodness, enough is enough. I mean, are we going to make it to where they can go back in there and it's more safe? Or is it going to be more of a sanitary environment? I feel bad for all these people, that work in these casinos, these hotels. City. There's just so many of them. I get people are collecting unemployment right now, but I know people right now.
Wait a minute. If it went through, people are still waiting. And you can't get through to the phone number, by the way. It doesn't work. Just let everybody know. Everybody knows that.
There's so many weird things going on right now. So many weird things going on right now with that. Like, even if you owe the IRS, they're still sending you those letters, I hear, but there's no one to answer the phone and say, hey, okay, you couldn't pay because of COVID. Just crazy. Like, the world is still catching itself up, and it's going to take a few.
I agree. So I follow you on social media, and I see you delivering food, and what is that all about? I know you're involved in the community a lot. So okay,
so here it is. It's probably week number 2. I'm sitting here in the quarantine. I'm going, am I ever going to film another show again? Am I ever going to, like, a lot of people sitting there going, am I ever going to blank again? And then Christina, the director from St. Jude's, calls me, good friend of mine. And she's like, hey, I got a good idea. I'm like, what you got? She's like, you want to shoot quarantine cooking videos for our patrons that watch what we do? And then they can make a donation. You bring a little awareness and you keep your head sane. And I said, you know what? That sounds amazing to be able to have that little, no matter what's going on in the world, that little bit of sunshine at the end of the week. We were doing them on Saturdays where we were making food. Well, we got really creative one of the episodes, and we decided that we wanted to go ahead and take donations for the food that I was creating, because it was a family-sized meal, and that the money that somebody donated for it, like people would donate to buy a ticket. That's what it was. People donated a few bucks to buy a ticket, and then they had the ticket, and then at the end we called out the ticket number, and whoever had the ticket number, I personally displayed safe, no contact delivery, and actually delivered the food that I made on the cooking demo to their house. The great part is when quarantine videos switch to regular videos that we're going to do once a month, more professional. Every month, once a month, we're going to have somebody out there with a little bit of moolah buy this meal that I create for a family that can use it, and I'm going to personally deliver it once a month. That's back to St. Jude's at the first of the month, every month that we do from here on out, because what happens is those 12 recipes in those 12 months turns into the annual St. Jude's cookbook. And we
Oh
sell
my
those
goodness, that's awesome. So you're going to continue this?
all the way, forever.
Oh, that's great. See, something good did come out of it. That's awesome.
That's what I mean. Stuff like that. Like I should have been doing that this whole time.
That's how I felt about learning how to, go live, edit my videos, post them on YouTube. I was like, I should have been doing that a long time ago.
Exactly.
So is Sinful Subs open, by the way?
Yes.
It is officially open.
Well, when things jumped off, we said, let's close for 2 weeks because we don't know what the world is, we don't know what's going to happen in the world.
Right.
Let's close to be safe. Well, what we started learning is in about that 7th or 8th day, you were almost hurting people by not being open because they were already sick of the canned food and they were like,
oh yeah,
give us our food.
Yeah.
So a lot of people had contacted me, will you open? Will you open? And my partner and myself were like, you know what? It's time for us to come back. Not so much for ourselves and the well-being of the business. Yes, to an extent, obviously, but to keep the economy going and to feed our patrons that stuck with us, food because they can really use it right now. Some of us gained a few in the quarantine. I'm about halfway ready to burning it off. I'm halfway there. But there was a point where that food was almost a life preserver. It actually separated the misery of everything that was going on and put you into that relaxed state into your dinner time. So once we figured out that we needed to do that, we had went ahead and opened it for just curbside and pickup and delivery. And
can you dine in now?
You can dine in now. We were fortunate enough in our lease to have outside seating. So we moved some of our tables outside.
Oh, nice.
We're about 6 to 8 feet apart inside.
Okay, awesome. And you mentioned that you're behaving recently, so you're working out now and stuff. What are you doing? Are you doing the Zumba videos online? Just kidding.
You know what?
Come on.
If we're going to start doing it, it would be in the quarantine. You have to Zumba. Put it in. Watch Billy Blanks or somebody. Do that thing.
My mother's been doing Zumba. She's never done Zumba in her life. I'm like, yes, quarantine made my mom do Zumba.
Yeah, quarantine to me is over, even though we still have to stay home a little bit.
Right.
Just eating better, actually walking around and jogging a little bit, working out a little bit, just not to get crazy, but just to stay okay. Because in my genes, forget it. Like we say, we will get mom's thighs, no question.
You're gonna get mom's thighs? No.
Yes, we get mom's thighs. We do. In our family, we get mom just comes down from heaven and goes, here you go.
I got the thigh problem too. I totally feel you. At least you're able to gauge and say, okay, enough is enough. Yeah. You're like, Vic, enough. That's what I do. I talk to myself. I go, Maral, enough is enough. You've indulged. Now get your ass out there and run or something. I've been running, which isn't good on pavement, but what are you going to do? I used to work out barefoot at True Fusion. And one thing that I realized, I had old sneakers. So I didn't buy sneakers before. So I didn't care. I just ran with them anyway. So I pulled a couple things, but whatever. You just got to be careful, Well, I had so much fun with you. I'm glad we finally made it happen.
I want to hang out with you.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I have to go to Simple Subs soon. I have to try the food there. What would you recommend I get?
I'm going to say, and I always have my recommendations first time in, if there's something you specifically don't eat, obviously I'm not going to tell my vegan friends to go for the skinny dip Philly.
Yeah.
But if you give me the protein of choice that you like, I direct you in that way. Example, if you eat beef, you're going right for the skinny dip. If, you eat chicken and you still want that type of thing, I have the chicken version of it. Then I have the knuckle sandwich. Then I have the pastrami bomb. I have the rainy day grilled cheese sandwich that you dip in the tomato bisque.
You have history with grilled cheese, don't you? Because I saw one of the episodes and there was a grilled cheese, ridiculously long one. What's up with that? You really love grilled cheese?
That was John. That was John. John made me do that. He's like, it's the firehouse. We turned it into a fire department. He's like, let's make a sandwich that gets hotter as you go. And then he walked away. I'm like, got it. He gives you the start of the idea. You do it. He comes back and just says, hell yeah. So we started it off where you bite into it, no big deal. As you get going, we had firemen twice my size on the curb crying.
No No way. It was that hot?
Heat evolving grilled cheese sandwich, 1 million Scoville units on the pepper scale. That's pretty high.
I would cry.
That was a bar rescue thing, New York episode. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being my guest today on the Maral Vegas Show.
Much love to you and all the people that watch your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Coming back.
Yes, we are.
Have a great weekend. Stay
all
blessed.
Right. You too. Bye.
Bye.